Hi, this is Linda
And this is Leslie.
with Let's Talk.
Yes, let's talk, Linda. I'm so excited about today's guest.
I know.
I'm
We
really excited because he is such a special person, and I'm going to disclose why he's a special person to me at the end. But right now, I just want to introduce our audience to him. His name is Dwayne, aka Cochise Warren. He is a audio engineer and music producer and CEO of his own company called Diamond Cut Studios, located in Atlanta, Georgia. And Dwayne, will you please just go right into telling us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your business, and how you got into that?
Oh, awesome. Thank you for having me first. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. I was born in Waukegan, Illinois, moved to New Jersey when I was around 10, 11 years old. Spent a big portion of my teenage years, in New Jersey, and then went to college in Alabama, Tuskegee University. So that's what kind of brought me to the South. Okay. And once I graduated, I basically stayed out here and started working on what I thought was going to be a flourishing music career, coming straight out of college. It didn't necessarily happen that way, but ultimately, after a little bit of perseverance and never saying, die, never quitting, things started to kind of take off for me, about 8 years after college.
Tell us
So,
a little bit about that journey, Dwayne, because I know that's not an easy industry to get into. And
correct.
especially in the South, there's a lot of competition. How did you get in that? And what was the launching pad for you following that path?
Well, I would say the best entry point is meeting and greeting. A lot of networking is definitely a big part of it. You will find yourself doing things for free, in the beginning, just to kind of get your name out there and get a reputation for your work, you know. Obviously, not burning bridges, with people, because I'm gonna be honest with you, the music business is kind of funny. If you really think about it, there's really no laws in the music business or in the music industry. Okay. The same laws that you might apply at your job, whether it's sexual harassment or any type of, legal litigation or anything like that, it doesn't exist in the music business. So you have to make sure that you are, making good connections with people, not burning bridges. Don't act like you're more than what you really are, basically, because at the end of the day, that will turn a lot of people off. It's about being humble.
That's
you
good.
know it's about being humble. At the end of the day, you have to be humble. You have to be able to be hungry. Obviously, you got to show that you're hungry and that you want to work and do a quality job while you're at it.
That's
I first started off as a producer, and then as I started producing, it kind of veered off and kind of opened up another business for me, which was being an audio engineer. So that's what I focus on now, full time,
Mhm.
being an audio engineer and then a producer.
I love it. And I love the
Mhm.
fact that you're talking about relationships because that's what our broadcast is about. It's about relationships and it's about
Mhm.
making connections. Now, would you say it was one person that connected you and brought you into this where you are now, or was it a networking type of experience?
Definitely a networking thing. I've always been into music ever since I was a little young boy. I started playing drums as well back, 9, 10 years old. Playing drums evolved into DJing. DJing evolved into producing, and producing evolved into mixing and engineering. And every step along the way, you will meet somebody, who has same likenesses as you, and you kind of build those relationships that way, whether it's with someone who you DJ with or someone you met at that party or wedding or an event, what I'm saying, that you're DJing. And then from there, it kind of spawned into me making my own music because, when you're DJing, at least for me, the how I took it was, I'm making these people dance and they're loving the music that I'm playing. I can make this stuff, what I'm saying? I felt creative enough that I can do this on my own, and then I started creating and making that that music for myself and letting my friends, first you let your friends hear it, you play it in the car, see what type of reactions you can get, and be honest with you, I was getting a lot of positive feedback. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. I was getting a lot of positive feedback, and I'm not even telling people that it was me.
Wow.
So they're like, who's this man? Who's that man? I like that, this and that or whatever. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just in the back, just laying cool, because I want people to be natural and be organic with their feelings and their emotions, and because of that, that's how you kind of start to gravitate towards those that really, are, like what you do, inspired by what you do, and also motivated by what you do. And I try and keep those people around me, the positive people.
I love that. And I'm also hearing you too, that not only are they inspiring you, but you're inspiring them, because that's really what it's
Right.
about. It's about inspiring others and building others up. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know you have had some really cool connections that launched you into getting some accolades for that. Can you talk
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah. Basically, are you talking about per se like the relationships that I built
Yes.
with the people? Yeah. So with the relationships that I built, a lot of people started doing the word of mouth thing, and they started kind of talking for me, because I'm not a person who really likes to be out and about all the time. I'm more of a what do you call that? Secluded, introvert. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I like to be in the studio. I like to be behind the keys, behind the computer, creating things all day, every day. So I had me doing that, and then I had a team or a couple of people that will be out and about, shaking hands, networking, business partners as well, that don't mind, flying to LA, or don't mind flying to New York or even Miami. We've gone Miami a few times to do some business deals, and the word of mouth is everything. That's everything, and because of that, I think that's what kind of helped me get to that person who took my career to the next level, by word of mouth. And that's basically how it happened. That's how we met, through word of mouth.
And now, weren't you awarded for that? Didn't you get like a gold record or something about? Can you talk about
Yes. Yep. Well, for people who don't know, I produced a record by Young Jock. It's called "I Know You See It." On his first album. The first album did about 750,000 copies sold, which would make it, a gold record, almost platinum. We almost eclipsed platinum. However, the single that I did, "I Know You See It," went 2 times platinum because we sold over 2 million in ringtones. It reached like number 3 on the pop, not the pop charts, but the hip hop R&B Billboard charts. It peaked out at number 14 on the Billboard pop charts. So the accolades were just like, at the time, were just pouring in, pouring in, pouring in. So needless to say, just from that album alone, I may have gotten maybe 3 or 4 different plaques, or trophies, if you want to call it that, just from that album alone, including a BMI award for Hip Hop and Urban Songs of the Year.
I love that. And what I'm hearing too, and the reason why I'm going this route, because I want our audience to know that there's a dream there. From what I'm hearing, and you can talk about that, Dwayne, if you could, because you had a skill that was developed by someone when you were young. Am I correct? That launched.
Yes. Yep, that would be correct. I was also motivated, inspired by others. Believe it or not, there was somebody in the neighborhood who played drums, a very long time ago. And I would be outside and I would just hear this guy just beating away, just making music, And, my parents were friends with his parents, and we, once again, the connection, my parents made the connection and said, "Hey, you mind giving my son drum lessons, maybe once or twice a week?" And that's basically how it started, and that basically fed my brain, my psyche, because I never knew I was into music, up until that point, until I started taking lessons, what I'm saying? And I never wanted to stop learning, even to this day, I never wanted to stop learning about what I do musically and how to get better. So it definitely comes down to the connections for sure.
And that's key. And Linda, I know you can talk a little bit about that because your son is also in the music industry to some extent. And you had mentioned earlier about connections and how his business is launching because of that. Can you talk to that a little bit?
It's where your connections is where you live at, where you go out to eat at. All that plays a part of bringing new clients or just even building relationships. You know, so that plays a big part. And he covered that pretty good. I have a question for you.
Sure.
I noticed with music, like when you're making your music, how does emotions and relationships build in that music? Like if you're writing a love song compared to, you know, like a part in a movie, a scary movie and different things like that. Is there something special with that of how it works?
That's a good question. Usually, okay, so I'm gonna answer it in two different parts. If I'm doing something musically far as radio or something that's being commercially sold, you know, for Apple Music or anything like that, I'll already have a concept in mind. You know, if I have, like, say, the singer is in the room with me, you know, we might collaborate and say, well, today I'm not feeling so well. I'm just having a bad day with my lady, you know. I feel like I want to do a love song today, you know, and then we'll collaborate on that and be like, okay, well, what emotion, what are you feeling? You know, well, I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling down, you know. And then we just start penning away, using the pen and just start writing away, you know, with those emotions and those feelings. Okay. Now that's if I'm doing something musically on, you know, like on a love song, you know, perhaps. Now, if I'm doing something for TV or the big screen for movies, then the producer, the director will come to me and say, hey, I've got this scene. I'm going to email it to you. I need some music for this scene right here. So the scene will have no music in it, obviously, you know. Right. So it's based upon what I see fit should go in that scene, because I have gotten a couple of placements on HBO, the show called Entourage that showed a few years back. I got a placement on that. I got a placement on just recently on a movie called Lit, that's based out of New Jersey, with my friend Cornelius Whitaker, who's the executive producer and director. He got me a placement on that. I'm trying to think what else. I have so much going on. It's so hard to kind of remember everything, but what else did I do lately? The show, I don't know if you're familiar with the show called The Shot, that's on HBO. No, I'm sorry, it's on Showtime. It's on Showtime. I just recently got 2 placements for that. So, you know, like I said, usually it's about knowing the genre, I would say, of what you're getting into. If it's going to be a horror movie or a suspenseful type of movie, then obviously we're going to want some suspense type of sounds, you know, to portray, to capture the audience, to bring them in just a little bit more. I don't know if you remember that movie Jaws back in the day, but that movie had the best movie soundtrack ever. You know what I'm saying? That dun 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 dun. Stuff like that is what I need to start doing more of, because that long-term work for me. You know, I do more urban stuff, more urban R&B, music, hip hop, things like that. But movies on like a Jaws scale or a Superman type of scale or Star Wars, you know, that's more long-term work for me. But I need to start practicing to be able to portray those type of emotions, you know, on track, on record, on speed with the movie. So needless to say, it's a very long, drawn out process. You know, a soundtrack for a movie could take 3 months, you know what I'm saying, before it's completed. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into this from what I'm hearing, Dwayne. I mean, there's so much involved. Not only is it just the people aspect, but you're also talking about the emotional connection too that you make with your business in order to bring out another phase in music. Am I hearing that correctly?
That's correct. That would be accurate.
Yeah. And you know, I have to go back to this one plug because you also graduated from my alma mater, Tuskegee.
That's right. That's right.
Plug there because I want you to talk about, because I do remember you disclosing how you even got into that while you were on the college campus. Can you mention
That's
that?
right. Yes, well, so I was DJing all through high school. So by coming from New Jersey and going to deep South Alabama,
Mhm.
obviously, the sounds and everything was just totally different. By making good relationships and once again, the word of mouth, people already knew me in Tuskegee before I even got there, you know. So
Mm.
they were already kind of hyping me up and pumping me up. Yo, my guy, Dwayne. At the time they called me D Nice, my guy D Nice is coming down from New Jersey. He gonna start DJing all our parties and whoopie whoop. So literally by that time I got there, they were already like, who is this guy? And let me
Wow.
hear what he's got. And because I came from New Jersey, I came with a different sound, that East Coast regional sound I brought down to the South, and they just loved it. They just absolutely loved it the whole time I was there. So, between doing that and the home DJing parties at homecoming,
Mhm.
I don't know if people are familiar with HBCUs, but every weekend there's a party
Yeah.
at a HBCU. Okay, every weekend there's going to be a party somewhere. So I stayed working, as far as DJing and stuff, and they just basically started to kind of gravitate towards me and embrace me, while I was there during my years at Tuskegee University. I wouldn't have traded it for nothing.
Wow, I love it. And I love that plug for
Hmm.
the HBCU. So those of you on the other side, definitely, definitely, definitely keep that in mind when you're considering going to college. Now I have to go
Absolutely.
back to your original concept, your original thought process, Dwayne, when we're talking about relationships, because that's really what fuels your dream.
Right.
Because knowing people is what helps you to get to the places where you're wanting to go. Is that
Right.
correct? So
That would be accurate. Absolutely.
what's next on your radar, Dwayne?
Well, right now, I just recently moved into a building about maybe 2 months ago, and I'm trying to establish one of the premier recording studios in the city of Marietta, right outside of Atlanta. That's what I'm building on now. So I want to make it such a studio to so comfortable enough that Madonna, when she flies into town, she's going to want to come and record at the studio, or any other big name rapper, or Kanye West, or Snoop Dogg. So I'm actually building on that now, and that's what I got kind of in the horizon for myself. Along still working with other artists and local artists and other artists, that come into town and request to work with me and things like that. So I stay busy, because, for me, when you're doing your own thing, it's not really like work, even though it's 7 days a week, but it's not like work for me. I don't mind it. So that's basically what I've been doing. I'm just trying to build this $1 million studio out here in Marietta, and put that on cruise control. And hopefully I'll be able to be bi-coastal and maybe move to California one day and be able to do the same thing on the West Coast.
I love it. I love it. And
Mhm.
really, can you speak, Dwayne, to someone who's on the other side, such as yourself, starting off
Mhm.
into this type of business? What kind of advice would you give them
Starting off in this business. Mm.
as it comes to as it relates to relationships?
As it relates to relationships, okay. First thing you need to do is never burn bridges with anyone. First and foremost, you cannot burn bridges, because once again, word of mouth is everything. If you're going to be that guy or that girl that's going to kind of float around from camp to camp, click to click, then that word is going to get around, and that's not going to vote well for you. You have to establish your own mark, you know, be that person that's going to um people are going to say, man, he just doesn't quit, man. He's constantly on it. Can he get this guy off my back? You want to be that guy. You want to be that nuisance, believe it or not, especially in this business, or just basically any job, you know what I'm saying? But especially in this business, you want to be that nuisance. If there's something that needs to get done, you have to get it done. And the second thing is, don't start nothing that you can't finish.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would be the second thing, because sometimes people will take on projects for me that they said that they can do or can complete, and literally either they give me a crap job, back, or they basically, fall off a cliff and I never hear back from them because they couldn't complete, what the task at hand, basically, So I would say, as far as, relationships is concerned, your relationships will develop as you develop, as a person. So don't burn any bridges. Always be meeting and greeting, if you see somebody that does what you do, or somebody that, has a connection that does what you do, there's nothing wrong with just introducing yourself and saying, hello, my name is Dwayne. I own Diamond Cut Studios. I've done this. I'm looking to do this, going forward. How can we connect? How can we work with each other? That took 10 seconds.
Wow. I love it.
Took 10 seconds. So all they can say is no, that's all they can say is no, I don't want to do it. Okay, fine. A no only puts you that much closer to your yes.
Good advice, Dwayne.
Yeah. So I don't mind no's. No's lets me know that I'm that much closer to that yes that's coming. That could happen today, that could happen tomorrow, that could happen next month. But you'll never know if you don't, keep striving towards it.
I love it.
So I have a good idea. I think you should do our theme song.
Great idea. That's right. We should do like a little intro and a little outro for your segment there. That'll be awesome.
Okay.
Let's make that happen.
Everybody look forward in a couple of months, maybe.
Or less.
Right. To hear our theme song so you can see his work live, that you can hear it and just know that, hey, it's working together as a family and supporting each other, and see all he can do.
Absolutely.
That'll be good.
I love it. So we're looking forward to hearing some of Diamond Cut Studios recording for our show. So I'm excited about that, Dwayne. And listen,
awesome.
If you like what you heard, and I know you did, because I did, and I know Linda did, and I know Dwayne did as well, please be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and we want to get this message out to as many people as we can, because really this is what it's all about. It's about life's lessons, and we got a life's lesson today, and it's about laughter, and it's about love, because the ultimate goal is to do what? Make relationships last.
That's right.
Even if you go to an HBCU like Tuskegee University, right?
TU.
All right, until next time, we'll see you soon.
All right, bye-bye.